All right, the last two topics were pretty basic, so we need something a little bit more challenging today so that your brain does not atrophy. Atrophy? Is it an atro? Great. Yes, use big words and look like a fool. Okay, so that your brain doesn't get all squishy. How about that? So point slope form, graph and equation. So there's another form of a line that we're going to learn about. We've learned about slope intercept. We've learned about standard form. Well, now we're going to deal with the point slope form. And the point slope form requires two things. It requires a point and a slope. This is what the equation looks like. It's y minus y sub 1 equals m parenthesis x minus x sub 1. What I'm saying here is y sub, as in like a submarine. This is really what I'm saying. I'm saying y sub 1. This is called a subscript. And that is a different thing than a y. This y and that x are variables. The y sub 1 and the x sub 1 are going to be actual numbers that we'll use. We know what m is. M is the slope, which is rise over run. And x1 and x sub 1, y sub 1 is a point. These will be numbers. This is a point. We will have these numbers. Now, the point, the x1, the x sub 1, the y sub 1, they will seem to be opposite or backwards. When we get into this, we're going to see that they're going to appear to be the opposite or backwards of what you expect. And that's because there's a negative in the original equation. And negatives make things opposites. So this is going to make sense, I'm hoping. So because of the negatives, so here's what we're going to do. We'll end up getting the point out of the equation, get the point out. We'll end up getting the slope out of this. Like if this is the equation, I could come up here and I could grab that m. I could come up here and I could grab that x and that y, or that y sub 1, x sub 1. So I can get the point. I can get the slope, then I can plot the point, and I can start to rise and run. All right, let's give this a shot. So these are kind of our instructions. So when you're doing these problems, you might want to have these notes out and use them for guidance. Here it is. Here's my equation. I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. All right. I need to graph this function. The first thing I need to do is pull the point out of it. So here is the x sub 1, and there is the y sub 1. And they appear backwards. This is x, which is negative 6, y, which is positive 4. And they appear backwards or opposite because the equation itself, the point slope equation, which we just saw, contains a negative right there and a negative right there, which makes everything appear opposite of what you expect. So there's my point, and my slope is right here. So let's take that slope and we'll put it over here. And now we're ready to graph this. I plot the point, and then I'm going to go up 1 over 2. Plot the point. Let's make a note there. Plot me. And then this guy, rise and run. And I don't know why my math likes to talk. Okay. So plot negative 6 comma 4. Negative 6 comma 4 is right here. And from that starting point, I am going to go up 1 and over 2. Up 1, over 2. Up 1, over 2. Up 1, over 2. And I can extend it in the opposite direction. And there is my line. Let's connect the dots. That's your line. Get the point. Remember, it's going to appear backwards. Get the slope. Plot the point. Rise and run. Here's the next one. Okay, what is the point? Well, the point is right there and right there. X is negative 2. Y is negative 6. Right there and right there. X is negative 2. Y is negative 6. There's my point. And my slope is right there, which is negative 1/2. Which means I'm going to go down 1 over 2. We'll plot the point. The point is negative 2, negative 6, negative 2, negative 6. Down 1 over 2. Whoop, you can't see it. Negative, this is my point, negative 2, negative 6. Down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, up 1. There's my line. And that, my friends, is the point-slope equation. Point-slope equation. All right. That was a little bit more difficult, but not crazy. See you later. Bye.